Right, welcome. Here we are. Welcome to Sukkah Daf. Yehuda, how do you say Chavdal in English? What number is that?
24.
Very good. Yehuda, you're better than Shmuel. Shmuel can't figure these out. It was Daf Ted Zion. He's like, yo, give me a hard one. Ted Zion. Couldn't figure out 9 plus 7 is 16. Hard for him to figure that out. Yehuda knows his math. Yehuda, that's what they teach him in Cheder. All right. So the Gemara said, we're back to yesterday. We had a machlokes in Rameir and Yehuda, whether you can use an animal for a wall of your sukkah. And the Gemara's conclusion on top of Dalam and Al is Rameir says he's koshish lamisa, and he says you can't use it. And Yehuda is not koshish lamisa, and you can. The Tanya, the Gemara continues. Asal lebehema dov on the sukkah. Rameir post that we see actually. Rameir is one of the apostles. Yehuda machshir. Now we come back to this Bryce that the Gemara quoted in the middle. Okay, and we're trying to answer that kasha. The Rameir, because Rameir over here says he's not worried that your barrel of wine, your jar of wine, your bottle of wine is going to break. Right? He says he's not worried it's going to break. And Rehuda and Rav Shimon, they're chayish l'b'kiyas no, they're worried that your bottle is going to break and you're not going to be able to use breira. Breira clarifies the mafreya retroactively what there was shumas and ma'aser sheni and ma'aser rishon. So seemingly the Gemara's understanding that Yehuda, he says you can't do it because he's worried it's going to break and you're not going to be able to say breira anymore. And Rameir is not worried the bottle is going to break. So how do we resolve Rameir? He's choshesh lamisa, but he's not choshesh for the bottle breaking. So the Gemara answers the Rameir Amar lecha Rameir misa shchicha b'kiyas and olo shchicha. It's common for things that people to die or animals to die, but a bottle of wine breaking is not so common. After the Masalei Shomer, you can give your bottle of wine to your Shomer, right? You have a security guard, you give a bottle of wine to him, right? What wine do you like, Yehuda?
I like white.
White wine, Moscato?
Yeah.
You like the Bartanura wine?
Yeah.
Sparkling. You ever taste real champagne, Yehuda?
Could be.
That's what they were talking about. Like, kusim. Who are these kusim? The kusim are non-Jews, you know. They have the good stuff, the good wine. They have the champagne. So that's what we're talking about. Expensive wine over here. He gives it to a security guard. Why you give a bottle of wine, a $20 bottle of wine, you not give it to the security guard? Champagne, you give it to the security guard. Kasha Rabbi Yehuda. When he answered Rabbi Yehuda, time with Rabbi Yehuda, la mishum dechayish b'kiyas. He holds misas not shchiach. He also holds b'kiyas anod that the bottle breaking is not shchiach. El mishum deleistei breira. The reason he holds that it's also to do this because he doesn't hold a breira. He doesn't hold retroactively, but you can view it as the shumos and maisos are at the end of your bottle. V'lo chayish Rabbi Yehuda b'kiyas anod. He doesn't. He's not worried about the bottle breaking. Hamadani seifa amru lo l'remeir yatamod shema yivake anod. They said to Rameir, all these Rabbanim, Rabbi Yehuda included, said to him, aren't you worried the bottle's going to break and you're drinking tevel? Amar lahu, l'kshiyavaka. He says, let it wait till it breaks. Sounds like Rameir is not worried about it, and Yehuda is worried about it. Sounds like that's machlokas. So the Gemara says, no. Hasam Yehuda who the kamar the Rameir ledidi. What is he saying to Rameir? Ledidi leis lebreira. I don't know the breira. Therefore, forget about because I know it. The breira doesn't work. You can't do it. El did chadish breira. You hold a breira. Yet I'm the shema yivake. I know it. Are you worried that the bottle's going to break? Even if you hold a breira, the bottle will break, and you can have tevel. Amar lei leksha yivake. He said, let's see it break. We're not worried about it. Lo chayish Yehuda misa. Yehuda is not worried about misa. About non. Yehuda omer af isha acheres maskilim lo.
Yoma.
Yes, we learned which Masechta we learned last Masechta in Daf Yomi. Yuma, exactly. We learned Yuma. The first Mishnah says that Yehuda says they would masakin another wife for the Kohen Gadol because you have to.
Very
good, Yehuda. They're Talmud Chacham. We can learn from them. Sichas Yehuda, Divrei Torah, Talmud Chacham. Isha Cheres Maskinin Lo Shema Tamas Ishto. He's worried that the wife is going to die and he has to have another wife. They made an extra. The Rabbanan were more machmir by kapara by Yom Kippur would atone for all the sins of Klal Yisrael. So they're more machmir. They want to make sure everything goes smoothly then. So the Gemara says, "Beilaman damar shema Tamas, Beilaman damar shema Tivrach." Midaraisa mechitza ma'ali. It's only gzeras derabbanan. Really, it's a mechitza doraisa. It's a good mechitza. Rabbanan de gazruba elam atala remeir to tam mishum gal. If midaraisa is a good wall, so why does Remeir say it doesn't function as cover to your coffin? Alamastan Rehuda Matam Mishum Gola. He says it would actually a coffin gets tuma, and if use an animal to cover your coffin, it would get tuma. Remeir says tar. It's not considered a legitimate cover to your coffin. We have a different svar. We call it third svar in Remeir. The reason it's not a mechitza is because since it's standing based on ruach, based on light. Every person, ruach mamala. The person standing, he has a lot of air inside of him. A person stands on air. An animal also is filled with air. So anything filled with air is not a mechitza. It's not made by people. Ain't a mechitza. An animal is not made by people. It's made by God. So my benai, what's the difference in these two different ways of understanding it? You have those inflatable walls. Remember, we went to that Har Shmuel. Remember Yudah, when there was inflatable the rafts and the tubes or whatever for the kids to play with. So let's say you made an inflatable wall. Sometimes they have these slides for kids in big inflatable things. So you made an inflatable wall. The okma benota fuach. You took an electric pump, you pumped it up the wall. It's based on wind. It's standing on wind, the air. That's what's filling it up. That's what's giving it its permanence. So when we machitza, according to Mandamar, it says right, Meir holds because it's not made by man. This is made by man. You pumped it up with your own breath, or you electrically pumped it up. It would be a machitza. Chav Dalit Amud Beis the top. Amar Mar Mishum Rav Yossi Aglili Amru Af Ein Koser Love Gitei Nashim. Rav Yossi Aglili adds that on an animal you can't write a get. My time with Rav Yossi Aglili. What's Rav Yossi Aglili's reasoning? The Zanya Sefer Ailing Hela Sefer. I only have a sefer, a parchment, a paper. Minayin the Rabbos called over. How do you know you can write again on anything? Talmud Lomar. The cost of law, mikol mach, cost of law. Write it to her. It says a general way, so you can write a get on anything. Im matam lomar sefer. Why is it sefer? Sefer is a limitation. Lomar lach mas sefer davar she'im beruach chayim. Ve'ino ochel av kol davar. My daughter is screaming now because she really wants to be part of this year. Yehuda took her spot. I promised her for Daf Chav Dalet. She had her hopes for Chav Dalet. She likes 24. It's her favorite number. Kobe Bryant. She likes Chav Dalet. So she wanted. That's why my daughter's crying because Yehuda took her spot. But it's okay. Okay. My time with the Yosef Glili, Tanya Sefer, and the other Sefer. Now that I was called over down Lomer because of Lomer. Ingi Adam Lomer Sefer. Why say Sefer limitation? Lach Mas Lomer Lach Mas Sefer Davar Sheim Ruachayim. Ve'ino Ochel. There's two limitations. It can't have life in it, and it can't be a food. Af Kol Davar Sheim Ruachayim Ve'ino Ochel. And therefore, an animal has ruach hayim, it has life. It can't be used for a get. Rabbanan, they hold you could write a get on an animal. It costs a bis sefer kedegamrit. Hashidachsiv sefer. Why say the word sefer without bin in the sefer? The sviras dvarim ba'alma. It just has to say words that indicate that you want to make a krisos. You want to make a separation between you and your wife. Hashidachsiv sefer sviras dvarim ba'alma hu da'asa. 1 second. Because of Sefer Amar, hashtag Sefer the Shir Dharma Almahudas. Rabbanan Haiva Costa of my Darshibe. What do you do with Costa? It's a general thing. Seemingly you can write it on anything. They already know you can write anything. You can't do gerushin through giving of money. What would be the case? Let's say you technically want to megarish your wife. You give her money. How much money do you think is appropriate to give a woman when you're megarish?
Yeah, no.
I don't know. Give her $1. You give $1. Shavar Pruta, the woman, maybe you can megarish her. Torah says no. Only with a get, written get, and not with money. You would think it would be legitimate. It says Vyatzav Haisa, Maya Havaya Bekesa, just like you can Mekadesh Nisha with money, Afyatsia Bekesa, you should also be Megarish with money. Kamashman, you can't do that. Where does he know that you can't Megarish a woman with money? Sefer Krisos Navkle, Sefer course of Ain Ein davar acher karsa. It says the word sefer next to krisos. That a sefer, written something has to separate you from your wife and not something else. V'idach, what does the Rabbanan do? Homi ba'ilei l'davar akar is ben el beina. It has to be the guest be written in a way that it'll permanently separate you. Because like it says in Brisa, here I'm giving you this get. I'm not on condition you'll never drink wine again in your life, or you never go to your father's house again. And Zakrisis, it's impossible to do that. She's going to have to go back. She'll have to drink wine. So it's not a permanent separation. But if you just wrote a get, she shouldn't drink wine for 30 days. That's possible. Where does the other one know that from? Mikaris krisus nafka. He learns, it could have just said the word kares. Why is it krisus? Tell you it's extra drasha. V'idach kares krisus ladarse. Another one who already knew this from somewhere else, he doesn't darsh, he doesn't make mashmos out of kares krisus. The Mishnah. You make sukkah between trees, and the trees act as the wall. Right, this is not like before in the Mishnah where the sukkah was the floor of the sukkah was supported by trees. Here we're talking about the actual the floor of the sukkah is the ground, which is okay. Your walls are made out of trees. If a wall can't stand in a regular wind, it's not a mechitza. There's a common problem with canvas sukkahs. You know about this? The canvas sukkahs that they blow in the wind. You know what canvas sukkah is? A lot of them in America, they have like those, looks like sheets, like heavy sheets, and they blow in the wind. My father had one of these sukkahs, and I used to have to put up loved straps, loved rope or whatever, because it might move. Anyway, it's a problem based on this Gemara. So that's what he says. That's what Rachman Yaakov says. Nan. Within the Mishnah, this is a cost of Beni Alanos, so another Stfanos, like Shera. Where are you going, Yehuda?
Wait a minute. Stop.
I'm not waiting. I can't stop.
A minute.
No, I can't stop. I was saying, I was a cost of Beni Alanos. Alanos Stfanos, like Shera. If you make it between the trees, and the trees are the wall, it's kosher. With trees are moving. So how could they be good walls? We're talking about old trees where the trunk is very large and they're not going to move. And where's about ikanofo? You have the branches. The branches are part of the wall also, and they're going to move. There he attaches, good pieces of wood, and he ties them strong, so therefore it won't move. Even if the branches move, he'll have other thing to replace the branches. If he's tying it down, what's the chiddush of the Mishnah? If you make your sukkah, the walls out of trees, you might come to lean on the walls, let's say, right? And that's a problem on Shav and Yontiv. Can't lean on a tree because you might touch a branch. It doesn't say that. Oh yeah, right. You can put sukkah. We're not worried about it. Tashma yasham ilan o geder o mechitza sakanim nidon mishum diyumid. Let's say you had. This is talking about a diyumid, which is when the Ole Regalim they used to go up. They wanted to make walls around the wells. So if there was a tree there or a fence or some reeds, nidon mishum diyumid, you could use those for those partial walls. Hasam nami, I could use it for partial walls. We just said a wall, an Elon can move, it moves, it goes back and forth, and we said it's not a wall if it moves back and forth. You tied it down, you put good pieces of wood there. Okay. Tashma Elon hamesach al aretz. Nofo gavo min aretz shlosh tvachim metaltalin tachtav. Let's say you have a big tree and the branches overhang and it forms a space in between the branches, the bottom of the branches, and the trunk of the tree. If the branches they're leaning down, they're within 3 tvachim of the ground, then it forms Rosh Hashanah. You can metaltal in there. How could it be a wall? Haka'azia for Rosh Hashanah, Haka'azia v'asi. It's going back and forth, not a machitza. Hasan nami davalei b'hutz v'dafni. You tied it down with good pieces of wood, you made it into a wall. Ihachin talta b'kula. So therefore, why you should be able to talta even no matter how big this space is. Alama, we don't see that's true. Amar Rav Huna b'reid Rav Yeshua. Ema taltan bo ella beis hasaim. Only if the shear in between the trunk of the tree and the branches of the tree is too saw. Mishum the Havadiris, why only Beis Hasayim? If it's really a real wall, it makes Rosh Hashanah. You could have a big building, it's a Rosh Hashanah, right? Big shuls, big, big museums. It's all Rosh Hashanah, right? Because the whole point, the whole area in this between the trunk of the tree and the branches it's not made for living. It's made for. Yehuda doesn't want to wear yarmulke during this year.
חס
If
ושלום,
Yeah,
חס ושלום, בטח שאני רוצה.
he wants to wear a black hat. What? What? I am almost done. Okay, what in 2 minutes? Since the whole place, the space over there is made for not for living purposes, just for air, so therefore the halacha is you can only carry within 2 sa. Tashma shavas betel shu gavo asara. Let's say he comes on Shabbos. He comes to a mound, like a small mountain. It's 10 tefachim tall. V'huma arba amos ad beis hasayim, and this hill is 4 amos wide up until 2 sa wide. V'chein beneka shehu amok asara. You have a hole in the ground that's 10 tefachim deep. V'hu ba'arba amos ad beis hasayim. It's the same. The width and length are between 4 amos and 2 sa. V'chein kamak tzura. Let's say you have in the middle of a field where the middle of the field is cut down, the stalks of wheat are cut down, and it's surrounded by stalks of wheat that are not cut down. Mahalech eskula v'chutz la'alpayim. It's considered your shvisa, like you're living there, and you have 2,000 amos. It's considered shizayachid for mechizas living there. Afagav the kazi even though the shibolim, even though these wheat stalks, they're moving back and forth. The Gemara answers hasam nami.
David, Hutza, Daphne.
Hutza v'Daphna. Yimei Hutza and Daphna. My wife used to work for a woman named Daphna. No connection to this Gemara. My wife is trying to call me to help out with the kids, so I'm going to have to end the share now. Take care. Bye, Yehuda. Say bye.
להתראות.